The most recent report about contract negotiations with Isaac Okoro is a bad look for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hey everybody, Billy Beebe back with you on Cavs Digest. Once again, talking about everything happening with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the latest is with Isaac Okoro. We will jump into the latest report from Brian Windhorst of ESPN, kind of the timeline that's gone on with Isaac Okoro, and then of course the Cavs getting ready to have Media Day just about a month at the end of September. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of this video, and we would appreciate it if you subscribe. When news like this breaks, when things like this happen, you'll get informed right away when you subscribe with us and we get videos up. Cavs have made a ton of signings lately, a lot of two-way guys. We've had a lot of theories about more guys they could bring in. We did a video about a report saying 1, 2, maybe 3 new players coming to the Cavaliers. I think we've seen 1 since that report, so possibly more on the way. But the topic of today's video is Isaac Okoro and the contract negotiations that continue between him and the Cleveland Cavaliers. He has finished his 5 years in Cleveland. It looked like they were going to sign him. That was the initial report, like they would sign him right away. That would be the first move they make. They'd knock that out. They'd get Isaac Okoro back, get things shaped up with him. He's been a terrific defender for them during the regular season. Caused some problems in the playoffs, but his shot was gone completely last year to the point the Cavaliers just couldn't really play him. He was not much help offensively. So really, when they ended the season, it was a sticky situation, right? Now it was kind of like, okay, are we bringing Okoro back? What are we going to do with him? He's nearing a $20 to $25 million contract over 3-4 years. So is that worth it to you? Is that something you want to do with Okoro? Do the Cavaliers believe in him that much? It's a good question. So time goes on, and we've got a video, if you go back and watch it, with Bobby Marks. He says, hey, look out. I think Isaac Okoro, something's happening there with a sign-in trade. Cavaliers were heavily involved in talks for trading for a wing. They had only gotten, I think, 1 extension done at that time. I believe just Donovan Mitchell had gotten done. So, the Mobley contract, the Allen contract, which factor into all this. The fact that they've spent a good chunk of their money does factor into all this. So you do kind of have to keep that in mind when thinking about Isaac Okoro and the situation here. So the sign and trade situation seemed they were kind of done with him. He was done with them. They were going to let him move on. Time goes on. We keep on rolling. And the word kind of comes around that the Cavs and Okoro are looking to reunite. They're trying to put this thing back together. Trade talks obviously didn't go as well as they'd hoped, probably. And that's how it seems. But the issue is the Cavaliers spent their money. As we talked about, their extensions are done. You gave out a couple two-way contracts. We're getting very close to camp. This is a chaotic situation now. Now you've gone through 3 different stages. We'll get this done quickly. Axed. Didn't happen. Not the way it went. All right, let's do a sign and trade. Both sides want to see something new. Let's get that done. Doesn't work out. Did not happen. And now the 3rd chapter, and the chapter that proves this whole thing is messy. The most recent report from Brian Windhorst saying, hey, a ton of people didn't know about this, but this is just like what happened with Colin Sexton. The Cavaliers waited a long time to get that extension done with him for 4 years. And he didn't really elaborate if that was before they were going to trade him for Donovan Mitchell or if it was just a general get the deal done. However, they want to get something done with a restricted free agent, and that's not always easy. It's a back and forth at this point. It's good to see they're talking, Windhorst reports here. Will that increase towards the end of camp? He says he's not sure. And as I just noted, Windhorst notes the same thing. They probably realized they spent a ton of money, not just on two-ways, not just on extensions, but a new coach. And last offseason, Max Strus comes back and joins the team. George Niang has a 4-year deal with your team. And then Ty Jerome, you're hoping to get back. You signed all 3 of those guys last year. So the key part of this, at the end, I am told the Cavs made a multi-year offer, whatever that's worth. I think that's in the $20 to $25 million range. I think that's on the low 20s. The low 20s for sure on that one. For Okoro, who's, I want to say a 3-and-D guy, but if I could give the 3 like a B-3, a 3 B- player, That's kind of who he is. But, I mean, look, he gets that dog chain that they give out a lot, that junkyard dog chain, because he's a hard worker. He goes at it against other guys. He really puts that effort in, and that's huge during the regular season. And I do think we saw it during the playoffs. The key was you gave him so many opportunities to knock down open shots, and he just didn't do it, right? He just didn't figure out a way to kind of grasp on and knocking down 4 out of 8 threes a game, or even 3 out of 8. I mean, I think would have been okay with the Cavaliers. Just didn't get it done. So they're in a very interesting position now in the negotiation process. And like we said, it's a bad look. It's a bad look to go through these ups and downs with him. And it's like, hey, like let's get this thing done or not. They are close to camp. They are close to media day. Excuse me, they're about a month away from doing this and getting into camp and working, and he's got no contract offer. My ideal situation for him would be 2 years, $22 million. Prove it contract. We're going back to the playoffs. We're running this thing back. You're a part of it. Prove yourself, and then go do what you got to do. But let's do 2 more years of this. Let's lock this thing up. Let's make this thing happen, and I think that's very realistic. I can see that happening. Drop down in the comments. Is this something that needs to happen, or they need to let this go? I think the Cavaliers look bad. You let us know what you think. Is this just normal negotiation? Is this the kind of player where it was never going to be easy? Or is it, hey, maybe it's time to just let this whole thing go, walk away from Okoro? Or am I just reading too much into it? Windhurst is reading too much into it, and this thing's going to get done in a week or two? Drop down to the comments. Let us know. And also be sure to subscribe, as we said. The last note we're going to kind of make here, as I said, about a month away from Media Day. That'll be September 30th. We'll have a ton of great content here on Cavs Digest. Look, it's football season, so a lot of the outlets you follow for Cavs content are not as focused. They're not posting as much. They're not giving you Cavs content as much. That's not us. We're pumping videos out, trade rumors, signing rumors, reports coming out, everything you want to know with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to decipher it. Just subscribe to us here on Cavs Digest, and that content's going to come right your way.